Wow. That was just a little loss for the Cubs, but it was a huge morale booster for us. That was really nice to win. Eickhoff was really good. That's as good as he's been all day. All year. He really had threw a lot of good sliders. He started using that as well as his curveball, and he really had good command of his stuff. I don't give Gomez the only save. I give Freddie and Blanco for turning that double play in the 8th inning. Wow, that was a special play. And then I don't think not too many right fielders would have cut that ball off in right center like Borges did. So I give him a save as well. The defense really helped us in those last 2 innings.
Is that as about as difficult of a save situation as you'll ever see?
Yeah, I brought in Gomez because I was hoping for a double play, and you can't ask anybody to do more than that. He did a hell of a job. It was great to see.
About Howard, heck of a week for him, first starting over a week, and
from what he's been going through, and it was nice to see him hit that home run. I think it gave him a little more confidence. He almost had another one. Good to see.
You talked about Eickhoff and the slider. You got a few strikeouts on that today, too. How important is that just for him as a young pitcher to kind of get another secondary pitch that he can
Well, it's huge. He's got that put-away curveball, but that hasn't been working as well for him this year as it has in the past. But now he's got a slider that was really good today. He threw a bunch of good ones, especially the left-handed hitters. Got in on him. And he had great command. He had real good command of his fastball. Nice to see.
Last 3 starts, he's been using that slider more and more. Do you see him getting more comfortable? Do you think that's what it was tonight?
I think the slider played big tonight. He needed something like that. It's like we said. Nola's been working on a changeup, and that's going to it's becoming an effective pitch for him. And the slider is really another pitch that Eickhoff can go to against righties and lefties. And we saw the results tonight, so it was really good to see.
Talk a little more about Gomez and his personality and how you feel comfortable throwing him out there.
I love the guy. He looked a little nervous today, but he was brought into a real tense situation. But he retained his composure, made a lot of good pitches, and the defense helped him out. But he gets ground balls, and that allows the defense to take over. He's been great. He's such a likable guy. Everybody loves him, and I really pull for him.
From a personality standpoint, would you have before this season
Nope.
have picked him for the
You know what, Leslie? He'd probably be the last guy that we talk about a closer mentality. He'd be the last guy I would think would have that kind of a mentality. However, he's proven us that he's got that kind of temperament, and he's been really good executing his pitches.
How do you mean you looked nervous when you gave him the ball, or what was the?
No, he just looked like he's wiping his forehead, and but I was nervous too.
That decision to go for a 6-out save, that's not one that is commonplace anymore. Did you feel like you had no other option? That process of going there.
I went to what I consider my best 2 relief pitchers in Neris and Gomez. And when Neris, once again, he's having some issues, he's having some trouble. Once with bases loaded in that situation, I'm gambling. I'm taking my best shot with my best guy. He's had 3 days off, so I figured he can go 2 innings. That's why I double switched. And also, he gets ground balls for you.
You talked before the game about Borges and the offensive struggles, but do you view him and I guess even Blanco in a sense as such kind of dangerous weapons for you defensively on that bench in the late innings?
Yeah, and I think a good example of that is the ball that LaStella hit in right center field. Boy, I didn't think he'd get to it, and he did cut it off and kept them from scoring the tying run, and it was a huge play. Blanco the same way. Here's a guy that's asked to go in to play sparingly and occasionally, and he comes in a big game, makes a great play to start a double play, and Freddie did an outstanding job on that, on the relay.
You mentioned all the defensive plays. Ryan makes a nice play throwing to second to get the lead runner on that ground ball, and it ends up being would have cost
Yeah, it was a nice play.